I'm Jeff Davis, head of J. Davis Public Relations and regional editor for the Capital Communicator. Citybiz has launched a series of conversations with leaders in communications, and today I'm honored to be speaking with Bill Ward, EVP and Managing Director of TBC. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
Let's talk about TBC. You've been around nearly 50 years.
Almost.
And how and when you get started, and who's on the team?
Great question. So it started before me. And, an interesting fact is almost 50 years later. So we're going to turn 48 years old. The C in TBC, Alan Charles, still someone very involved in the agency that he built. He's still here every day. Aside from him and myself, there's about another 58 other folks here to really kind of build out this whole full service agency, from creative and design, video production, media planning and buying, social media, PR, you name it. We've got a team member or an entire team to do it.
Great. Tell us a little bit about the services you offer and the markets you serve.
Sure. So as I just mentioned, the services we offer, I think a lot of agencies talk about being full service. It's something that from almost day one, where this started as a creative agency, a video and television production company, PR became a big part of it. Media has always been a part of it. We have always been and lived this idea of full service is what we do. I think it became a really good opportunity for us in the beginning to show our clients that when they want a full service offering, when they want a partner to think about their needs from start to finish and be a part of the whole process, be accountable to the whole process, we can do it all. Over the years, the business has changed a lot. So sometimes we're doing full service, sometimes we're just doing media or creative or PR. But that's really everything we bring to the table to make sure that there's no stone left unturned when it comes to listening to what their needs are. And from a kind of the industries that we serve, by nature, we actually kind of serve all of them. We're in B2B, we're in B2C, D2C, associations, nonprofits, and a lot of agencies do really well specializing in certain sectors. I think what has been great for us is that we're a group of very creative thinkers, a lot of curiosity, a lot of passion. So it's been, I think, a nice opportunity for everyone to always have experience across different industries, verticals, and sectors. It's refreshing to us, but it also brings a unique perspective when we can leverage what we've learned in another category and bring it to someone else's.
We've seen a lot of changes in the creative world recently. What are you seeing, and how does TBC take on those challenges and tackle the changes?
It's a great question. If you reflect on this industry overall, I feel like you could go back decades and decades and decades, and someone will always say there's so much change going on. So there's a little bit of, that's the nature of what we work within. Change has always been something that, whether it was all creative, all media, all digital, there's always something that has changed for our clients' needs, which forces us to change and pivot year to year, decade to decade. I will say it's been hard for some to think of this as only a creative industry anymore. And creativity now is really just another, really important, but just another seat around the table of accountability to business results, to understanding business objectives. And so we do more, I'd say equally, sit around a table with a client to understand what are their business objectives, how can we be a partner and a consultant to understand what their challenges are, how can we integrate into some of their very matrixed organizations to help them navigate what we're recommending. But the other side is really, digital transformation isn't a buzz term anymore, but it continues to define a new way to do what we do every day. There's always another way to measure performance or a consumer action. So creativity in our space is a little less known as being, what does our gut tell us, from 30 years ago to, well, what's happening today, tomorrow, right now with the work we're putting out there. So it's, I guess that's a long way of saying it's an industry of change that continues to change. It will never be one that lacks creativity, but it's always going to be one that bolsters on other things that along, the table.
So, moving on from there, what would you say differentiates TBC from other creative firms?
I think there's a lot in that question, and part of that is there's a lot of ad agencies out there, and quite honestly, I struggle with just calling us an ad agency. That to me harkens back to 3 decades ago when you created ads and you sat back and hoped that they made a splash and people talked about them. Having been born and raised as an ad agency in Baltimore in the Mid-Atlantic and grown from a small local regional shop to a shop that still cares deeply about being part of business in this community, but that has also done national and international brand work. We have been differentiated by great clients that have stayed with us a really, really long time. And having been at a handful of different agencies over almost 30 years of my own, I've also often thought back to what's that differentiator for us? What is that value proposition? How did that happen? And it comes down to wanting to know our client's business every day, day in and day out. And I know that may sound like everyone would say the same, but it's different to sit back and think about our business and what we bring them versus how do we feel like we understand their business every single day. So it does, in a way, put us a little bit more in a consultant's role sometimes. We build our relationships to make sure that we not only achieve the results that they need to get, because that's task number one, but the process along the way is enjoyable. We still not necessarily just believe it, but we build long-standing relationships because we don't want it to be painful on our clients. Quite honestly, we don't want it to be painful on us either. We want to get to the right results as quickly as possible, but we also want to enjoy the ride. It's still part of this business. It is enjoying the ride and making sure our clients can enjoy it along with us.
You hear companies talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I understand TBC has gone way beyond that, more than just posting about it on social media or closing for Juneteenth. Tell us what you're doing with DE&I.
Yeah, it's look, the reality of DE&I is that it can't just be a thought. It can't just be something on a piece of paper. It is a ongoing effort to making sure that we are owning up to what we can do better for our people, for our communities, for our clients. So yes, do we do a lot more than we ever did? 100%. Do we have much more to do? Yep. This is something that a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hopefully we have a lot more to look back on, but also have defined how do we do it better? How do we make sure this isn't a year goal and then we've checked the box? And for us, it is about making sure that there's time for acknowledging other national, international events, but it's also about being really, really focused on the people who come into our office, the clients who want to do business with us. And really in our world, it's applying that knowledge and understanding to consumers, the behaviors, the thoughts, the processes that they need to understand. That's what we're supposed to bring to the table. We can only do that if we're paying attention to our communities and what's changed around us. So it's an ongoing process, but I do feel like we're dedicated and focused on making sure that this isn't something that just came in the door one day as a policy. We did what we could and on with business as usual, because that's not the direction we're headed.
Let's hear about some of your clients. Who are some of your clients, and are there any campaigns you'd like to talk about or share?
Sure. We're proud to be, as I've mentioned, a Baltimore agency, and we're really proud to have a lot of Baltimore and regional clients. But we're also equally excited to have national clients. And so when I talk about Baltimore-based and regional clients, we just helped partner with the Baltimore Banner, which is taking journalism to local journalism to a whole different approach for the community of Baltimore, but hopefully setting the tone for what can happen in a journalistic approach across the country. So working with good, strong initiatives like that where we're almost a test pilot on something is really important. Think about Visit Baltimore, who's been a client of ours for over a decade, and what it means to highlight the opportunities of the city. And that, as much as they're a local client, we're attracting people from so much further away. And so it's really about shining a light on what's good here, what's opportunistic here, why people would want to come here. The other side is we start to think about national clients and work we've done for KT Tape, which is a well-known brand for the weekend warrior athletes all the way up to professional athletes, and work we do with Minute Clinic from CVS. So it's a nice merge of, I'd say, local, regional, where we see it, we feel it, and it means something to us, to the larger known brands that also fill the buckets of creative curiosity around here.
As we all know, keeping and retaining talent is among the major challenges in the industry these days. How are you addressing that, and what kind of culture have you helped to build here at TBC?
Yes, that is a challenge, and thankfully we're not the only ones trying to help figure that out. So, one of the things that's always been a core part of TBC over the years is work-life balance. The last 2.5 years has challenged figuring out what does that mean, how do you marry that with the culture of feeling like everyone here is not just part of a team, but part of your family. I can honestly say we haven't figured out what that's going to look like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. But what we have figured out is we need tomorrow to be as fluid and open to new ideas, new change. What does our staff need to make sure that they can feel like it's different here, that there's a reason to be here? And so, some things other than, yes, we went remote when everyone needs to go remote. We love being in the same space as folks. We have pushed for everyone to come back 1 day a week. I think part of that is as much being around teammates as it is just remembering what it's like to collaborate in person. But we've understood that other things have to flex too. And so, 1 day a week back in the office, that's a step in the right direction, I think. Unlimited PTO is something that we had to understand. People have different lives and different schedules now, and so it's an ongoing topic where I think we're open to change, and we actually look for ideas from our team on what's working, what's not. Let's make some adjustments when we need to.
So thanks for joining us today. Anything else you'd like to add? Gosh,
you know what? I think I would speak for everyone in saying we appreciate that you had the interest in talking to TBC. It's a fun industry to be in, and it's a challenging time to figure out how to engage people in coming out of a pandemic, realizing it's a new world every day and what's going on around us. So now I just appreciate the time to come in and talk with us.
So how can our viewers get in touch or learn more about TBC?
They can go to our website, tbc.us. They can follow our social media. They can stop into our office, especially every Tuesday. We're all here, right up in Brewers Hill, where they can get in touch with you and you get in touch with me.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for sharing your time today and for sharing the TV story with everyone from Citybiz. Thanks.
We appreciate being here.